This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
Views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we do encourage you to like and share them on Facebook. Because it's time for the African American Scene, presented each week at this time by Howard Insurance in Port St. Lucie and hosted by the one and only Rudy Howard.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Always glad to be with you here on a Wednesday night. First, let me say I appreciate those of you that reached out to me and acknowledged the information that I gave you last week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for those of you that called up that wanted to do business with me, I'm at this point kind of overwhelmed, but that's okay. Always happens when it gets this time, when you're getting close to the deadline. And the deadline is December 7th. That's your last day of enrollment, and today's the 2nd. So you got 5 more days to change your Medicare plan. Okay. Open mic night tonight. You get a chance to do battle with me again because last week I dedicated the whole hour to Medicare. Let me tell you some of my topics for tonight. Some of which I'm sure is going to get you going. The fraud allegation is bogus. It is completely and totally bogus. And I'd be more than happy to tell you why. And you're being abused by sending your money to support the Legal Defense Fund for a bogus cause. Should Trump concede to Biden at this point? That's topic number 2. Should Trump attend the inauguration? Topic number 3. Topic number 4. Do we need to take another look at the laws that govern our U.S. government, including the executive branch? Topic number 5. Our democracy is very fragile. That is something that I've learned over the past 3.5 years, and I will share my thoughts with you about that, but is our democracy fragile? And topic number 6. Cops are resigning all across the country. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Why do you think they're resigning? I did a little research on that, and I found some interviews. Let me just tell you why the fraud thing is bogus. And I was talking to a friend of mine who was a former conservative, and she said to me, I cannot believe people are sending money for his legal defense fund when this is obviously bogus. Now, let me tell you why it's bogus. Okay, this is the kind of thing old conservative Steve would call up about. But I'm going to tell you why it's bogus. All of the allegations of fraud and the conspiracy theories are made outside the courtroom. Okay, I want you to hear this again now. All the conspiracy theories and allegations of fraud are being made outside the courtroom. Do you know why that is? The reason why that is, if you go in the courtroom and make those allegations that you cannot document and support, you would be subject to sanctions and you could be potentially disbarred. And we got Steve on line one. Yes, sir.
Hi, Rudy. This fraud thing is a fraud in itself.
Oh, yes.
And I'm getting a little tired of our government just sitting by while other government officials break laws left and right. I mean, that's not such a good example for Junior and little Janie.
No, it's not.
They haven't come down on anybody. The first guy they send to prison, they pardon him. The second guy, they send him home because of COVID, but all the other prisoners stay there. This is the most corrupt administration in history.
I agree. I saw one guy, one commentator said to me that he is shocked that there hasn't been any sanctions for bringing some of these lawsuits because the lawsuits don't offer any evidence. And when they get inside the courtroom, they do not make an allegation of fraud. And as I just said, and you know, Steve, if you make that allegation in the courtroom before a judge, your butt could get in a lot of trouble.
That is called a frivolous lawsuit. And you can get disbarred for filing a frivolous lawsuit.
Absolutely.
And that's what these are. They're frivolous.
Yep.
They'll sit there and say, well, he stole the moon, he ate all the green cheese and all that. And then they get into court and they go, well, he got a parking ticket in 1962. You know, I'm tired of them making a joke out of our legal system, and I'm tired of our judges letting them become a joke. Some of
them have given some pretty terse responses, but like I said, one of the attorneys that I was listening to the other night said he's really, really surprised that there has not been sanctions because in one case when Giuliani was in court, Giuliani said to the judge, well, this is not a fraud case. And the judge, well, yeah. What are you here for then?
That's right, because it said right on the header, fraud.
Right.
Yeah. Giuliani's another joke.
Yeah.
That they're going to try to pardon. I loved it when his fake hair was running down his face. I love that one.
Yeah.
That's a picture that I froze on the thing. I'm going to blow it up and make a poster out of it. But guys like Giuliani, if I was a judge, I would have sanctioned that guy so long ago that he'd be old news.
Yes.
The stuff he's pulled. And he's making a mockery of our system. He's telling everybody out there, hey, go ahead and try it. If you get caught, oh, what the hell, make a deal.
Well, and
people now, pardon me, and I won't tell the world our secrets.
I will tell you one thing, though. I saw yesterday that gave me some heart. The guy from Georgia who's working for the Secretary of State, he made a passionate plea to stop it.
I saw that.
You saw that, right?
Was moving. That was moving.
It was very moving. He said, "Stop it! You're going to get somebody hurt. You're going to get somebody killed. You have got to stop this stuff." And
he put a lynchman's rope and a note in front of this 18-year-old kid's house who delivered ballots like he was supposed to. He was hired to do it. And these queer nans and what do they call them, the pussy boys or something like that? They're running their big mouths and stuff like this. But the bottom line is Trump's not going to be the president on the 20th, but there's a good chance he could be a prisoner.
Oh, that's a very good possibility, yeah. But thank you, Steve. I got another caller here.
You're really going to want to talk to him.
Yeah.
And now today they came out with 2 new tax scams that he was running with his kids. But he was stupid. He ran them in New York and not in the Fed. So he can't get pardoned.
Yeah, that's true.
I love it.
All right.
I'll let you go so
Thanks.
somebody else can call.
Okay, Steve, thank you. And we got Greg on line 2. Yes, sir.
Hey, Rudy, how you doing?
Okay.
Why? I woke up this morning and I heard that there are discussions in the air for pardons for the Trump children
Yes.
and for Rudy Giuliani, but I haven't heard of any charges being brought against any of the Trump children or against Rudy Giuliani. Why would they be discussing pardons for these people if there have been no charges raised yet?
Greg,
What's going on with that?
I will tell you. I listened to a legal expert, and he said the president's pardon power is absolute, and he can pardon retrospectively, but he cannot pardon prospectively. So if he has the power to pardon them for anything that they've done while they were working in the administration in the White House, that is one of those loopholes that needs to be fixed. And it's funny, when he was talking, he said, I don't think anybody ever was concerned with the pardon power being absolute for the president, because we always thought there's a what they call a pardon court or pardon board of attorneys you're supposed to go to in order to have your pardons approved. It's an actual part of our government. He doesn't go to them. He ignores them completely and does whatever he wants to. And when he has gone to them and they've said, no, we don't think this is a good idea, he just overrides and does it anyway.
Right. So what I would ask is, because I'm obviously uninformed, what should the children be pardoned of? What should Rudy Giuliani be pardoned of? I don't get it. And do any of the Trumpites out there, can they give us any insight of what these people would be pardoned of? I don't know. They've ever been charged of anything, but apparently the president thinks they should be pardoned of something.
Well,
Thanks, Rudy.
Okay, Greg, thank you. Yeah, I had that same question, but let me just say this, and Greg, thank you for calling. One of my topics was, our democracy is very fragile. I came to that understanding when I read the book, Understanding How to Read the Constitution by Kim Weil, W-E-H-L-E, Wiley. And she's a professor of law. And she breaks it down for you in such a simple way. And basically, what she tells you, many of the things that we took for granted as being laws were really not laws. They were norms that everyone had adhered to for hundreds of years. And he just blew through those. But he didn't break laws. In some cases, he didn't break any laws. He just blew through the norms. Things that people have just always done, he just ignored them and did whatever he wanted to do. So I think at the end of this term and moving into the new Congress over the next 4 to 8 years, I think we have to take a really hard look at some of the language in our Constitution, and I think we'll have to make some new laws so as to not allow some of the things that happen to happen, such as this pardoning. I think we have to put some limitation on that. The only thing that they said you cannot do is you cannot pardon prospectively in anticipation of breaking a law. But otherwise, the pardon power is absolute. I don't know that the framers ever expected that it would be used in the manner in which it's being used. And we've had a couple of situations over the years where the pardon power was used, and maybe not in the best taste, but not in as many situations as what we have seen in the last 3.5 years. I'm not going to say he's the first one, because there has been other instances where the pardon law has been used, but in most cases it was used with respects to a specific incident or crime, which is the point Greg was making, such as when Jimmy Carter used the pardon power to pardon the draft dodgers that had gone to Canada. That was an absolute power that he had. That you could disagree or whatever, but there was an incident there that he come to the conclusion that that was a war we shouldn't have been in, and those people left, and he wanted to allow them the opportunity to come back into America. But the point that I'm trying to make is, and again, the book is How to Read the Constitution by Kim Wiley. Get it? It's the way she wrote it. She didn't write it for a law student. She wrote it for a common, everyday person like myself to be able to pick it up and read it, and she gives you insight and understanding to how the Constitution was written. And I found it very, very, very enlightening. But yes, I think we have to take a look at some of the laws and how they're written. And all I can tell you is, for those of you who are Trump supporters, and I know you're out there, I have no animosity towards you like you have toward us that are Democrats or progressives. But I implore you, don't waste your money. You're being conned, giving him money for a legal defense fund to stuff his pockets with money again. You're being abused. You're being conned. You can support him without giving him your money. Love him all you want, but don't give him your money like that. Times are too hard, and everybody's working so hard to try to move forward under the COVID situation. Do not waste your money like that. I am telling you, you will eventually see, if you can't see it now, that it's a grift. Simple as that. It's a grift. I'm off of that. But anyway, my uncle, who always listens to my show, and one of my big supporters.
Is that your Uncle Rudy?
Yes, my Uncle Rudy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. He bought me an article from the New York Post about cops resigning from New York. And I subsequently went out and did some additional research to find out why some of the cops are resigning. And I found some very interesting information. One of the things that I found is nearly 80% of Americans say police brutality is moderately or extremely very much a problem. People believe it's a problem. I believe it's a problem. And I'm not anti-police. I don't believe in defund the police department. I am not. I'm going to repeat again. I am not anti-police, but I do believe there's a serious problem with policing in America. And it goes back a long, long, long way. There has been an ongoing problem with policing in America. Now, what I think is happening here is some of the cops are not liking the fact that there is accountability being placed on them for their behavior. And I would tell you, it is one of the few professions, doctors might be the other one, where there's absolute protection of the fellows you work with. One of the people interviewed in this article I read excerpt from the Post was Paula Sophia Schunauer. She was a 22-year police veteran. And they interviewed her about her resigning from the Oklahoma City Police Department. And one of the things she said is, the silence has got to stop. She says, the silence has got to stop. I have been saying now, probably for the better part of a year, that while I absolutely feel there are issues within policing that need to be addressed, the only way, and I believe this from the bottom of my heart, the only way those things are going to get fixed is if the people that are in the police department actually flush out those people who are bad cops. Because it really is in their best interest to do it. But what happens is, if you say anything, you get isolated and you're treated like you're a leper. And we have Winnie on line one. Yes, Winnie.
How y'all doing tonight?
Okay.
Praise the Lord. Yeah, what Donald Trump had raised, going back to him a little bit, $170 million. What he raised? Where the money supposed to be going for?
Winnie, that's the point that I'm trying to make. From what I understand, 40% of the money will go to his legal defense fund. Now, I could be wrong. It's either, I know the split is 60-40. I'm not sure whether it's 60% one way or, and I don't want to lie, because, you know, I pride myself on telling the truth. I think it's 40% to legal, 60% at his discretion, or it's either 60% to legal and 40% at his discretion. But the point of the matter is, what the heck, $170 million? I saw that.
Yeah. Oh, he don't get that brown penny from me, not a penny.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad.
Oh, that's crazy. And people giving their money like that for what? That's crazy.
I agree with you.
You put gas in your car, buy grocery, food, or clothing. That is giving away money to him like that. He ain't worth it. He ain't worth it, Rudy. Cut all this. That's what he is.
Finally.
Not man brown penny.
Finally.
I'm not going to vote for him 2024. I'm not going to vote for him again. No. I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad.
Winnie, you finally came around.
Wow.
You were one of his. Yeah, you laughing because you know you was one of his strongest supporters.
Yeah, I'm done with him. And then, you know what, Rudy? The Secret Service, they might have to boot him out that White House because they are they not in no here of living. They not in no here. They might have to boot him out before January the 20th, you know. Yeah,
I think what you'll see with him, knowing him as I do over the last 3.5 years and the time that I knew of him when I was in New York, he will disappear in the middle of the night where nobody can see, and he will go back to Mar-a-Lago because he is not, listen to me on this, I'll I'll bet anybody any money they want to bet he's not going back to New York to live.
You think so?
No, he's not going back. Are you kidding me? They got so many cases pending on him in New York right now. They might pick him up when the airport lands at LaGuardia or Kennedy. So no, he ain't going back to New York.
Oh my God!
He's coming down. He's gonna come down here to Florida to be with us.
With Tom. Yeah. All right. Y'all have a good night.
Okay, you take care. All right.
Bye-bye.
So Weenie has changed her mind.
She flipped finally.
Wow.
She was a strong supporter. You know how many times her and I talked about it.
But I wonder how many people would stagger if I were to say that I think Rudy Howard has more conservative values than some conservatives do. I really believe that, and if you want to call and try, that's the thing. If you were to claim that, everybody would want to be all over you because they tell you what they think. But it's just what they think. I mean, opinions are like, I can't say it on the radio because everybody's got one. But still, when it comes to family, the family and everything, you've got more conservative values than most conservatives. Absolutely. And
I do have a lot of conservative values. I told people about, I hate to keep talking about books all the time, but there was a book written by J.C. Watts called What Color is a Conservative? And in that book, he talks about what traditional values are in the black community, and he makes the case that blacks are more conservative than most people think, and that's absolutely true. So, Chuck. Yes, sir.
Hey, Rudy.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Just fine. Just a second here.
Okay.
I can hear you better now.
All right.
Just wanted to say how disgusted I have been with the electoral process in this country this year. Of course, then again, we're spoiled in this county. We have a supervisor of elections who has integrity, honesty, and efficiency. And I'm talking about Miss Gertrude Walker.
Understand.
She is a diamond in the rough. I will vote for her any time she is on the ticket. I vote split tickets, and she is one of my splits. Our efficiency was so good, we had our results in by 10 o'clock that night. Now, I spent the night on Politico.com watching all the returns. And I was amazed at how these other states bungle everything.
They didn't bungle
it. Ms. Walker should...
They didn't bungle.
No, Rudy, there's no reason.
Let me explain to you why. Because I'm a big fan of Gertrude, and I happen to think that she would say that we are friends. But let me tell you why you're wrong. Florida allows you to tabulate the votes as the mail-in votes come in and as the early votes are cast. In Pennsylvania, which is one of the key areas of contention, they tried to pass a law that would allow votes to be counted prior to Election Day, and the GOP voted it down in Pennsylvania that the only time you're allowed to count votes is on the day of the election. So that is why at night when everybody went to bed, there was one number, and when everybody woke up in the morning, there was another number, because there was this vast sea of votes out there that had not been allowed to be counted, that had to be counted that night. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that, but I want to point out something to you, please.
Okay.
Why? Now listen, I was on Politico for a specific reason, because I was being fair and honest. Why, seconds after the polls closed on the East Coast, with no precincts reporting in, no votes counted, Virginia was given to Biden. Now, on the other hand, at 9 o'clock at night, Trump had a lead, unsurmountable lead, in Florida. Yet, they did not call it till 2 o'clock in the morning after, this is like at 9 o'clock, 98% of the precincts had reported in. Yet they waited and waited. Now, how can you give a state to somebody with no votes counted? It's the same thing I brought up
what do you mean? What do you mean no votes were counted? Do you know what percentage of votes? Wait a second.
Well,
do you
Rudy,
know? Do you know what percentage of the votes in Virginia had been counted by the time they called the election?
None. There was nothing reported, Rudy. I was on the website.
There is no way on this good green earth could you ever convince me of that. That is absolutely impossible. I refuse to believe it. Tell me where I can get the information, and I'll go get it, because I can tell you right now, reporters don't report votes until they get data from the states. Reporters don't get numbers out of the sky. Reporters report the data that's given to them by the states.
No, you're wrong. Absolutely wrong. There's no way you can find it because it's already gone. The thing is that even Fox News called it seconds after the election, the polls had closed.
Well, then you had to know.
That's an anomaly.
No, but listen, Chuck, you are buying into a conspiracy theory that's just stupid. And yes, you are, because why would they call the vote for Biden? Why would Fox News call the vote for Biden, and they don't have any data whatsoever to show that?
MSNBC.
But why would Fox do that? You said Fox did it. Why would Fox do that?
I said they all did, including Fox. Listen to me. All of them did.
Okay.
Fox included. Every one of them. MSNBC, CBS, NBC, ABC. All of them.
Okay. So
all called it for Biden. This is another thing I'm talking about. I told you earlier, in 1990, I was amazed at how quickly the election was called at 7 p.m. after the polls were closed on the East Coast, that Bill Clinton won the election. It was amazing. But then, let's move on. I have an article for you to read. It's by Patrick Basham. It's in the SpectatorUSA.com, or you can find it online by looking up his name. Mm-hmm. He's a pollster. He deals in facts, numbers, and he gives you information on some incredible things. It's not conspiracy. He's just offering things for you to look at. And I think you should look at it. It's not a conspiracy theory.
So what is his theory? What is his theory?
His theory is that he's a pollster, and everything that says Trump should have won goes against what happened. In other words, Biden won. He got more votes than Obama. Even Trump got more votes than Obama.
Okay.
Obama got less votes in his second term than he did his first election.
Okay.
Trump increased his. Biden got a record low county total than anybody on history. Now, these are just some of them. These are just facts. He's not promoting a conspiracy. He's a pollster. He deals in facts. He gives you all the information.
Oh, I listen.
You should look it up.
I think that's true. If you're saying that Biden won less votes than in the counties than Trump, I believe that to be true.
No, he won with less counties.
I understand that. That's what I'm saying.
Any president.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying Just read the article. I think you.
So what difference
it's
does
not
that?
a conspiracy.
But what difference does that make at the end of the day? Because the fact of the matter is, he had 6 million more votes than Trump. 6 million.
That's not the.
That is the
article,
point.
Rudy, and you.
I understand what you're going to say. What you're saying is I agree with. I'm not even going to argue that point. I think that Trump probably won more counties than Biden. I totally believe that. I won't even argue that point with you. The point of the matter is simply this. Biden had 6 million more votes than Trump. Now, why did that happen? And now let me tell you why it happened. He trashed every major city in the United States. He trashed Baltimore. He trashed Philadelphia. He trashed Detroit, okay? He trashed Milwaukee. And he trashed the governor of Michigan, who was very popular. And he trashed the favorite son of Arizona, my God. John McCain. So why are you surprised that those states turned against him? That shouldn't be a shock. He did it
you read the article.
He did it to himself.
You're giving a very simplistic view.
Well, it is. It's
giving
not
a very simplistic. Read that article, Rudy.
But it's not more complicated than that. But I know what you're saying because first of all, I'm going to agree. I'm agreeing with you. I am agreeing that Trump probably won more counties than Biden. But the fact of the matter is Biden got more votes than Trump. That's the bottom line.
Yes.
Not complicated.
That's the bottom line. That's a simplistic look at it. Read the article. You'll find out how Biden winning goes against everything that's gone on in over 100 years of our elections.
Okay.
Just read the article.
Okay.
Just read the article. Now, as far as your officers leaving the police force, let's give an example. In San Francisco, they elected a DA. His parents are convicted murderers. He was raised by Bill Ayers and his wife. He is now bringing a lawsuit from 3 years ago against a police officer over a shooting. Now, he says he's going to do review every police officer that was cleared, and he's going to charge them with murder. Now, why is an example for San Francisco in the fact that law enforcement officers are second-guessed on everything they do? Why would you want to stay in an occupation that's not going to support you, is going to try to put you in jail?
Well, first
of all, ruin your life or your family.
First of all, I know that statement is incorrect. If he says he's going to review every case where there was a law officer shooting involved, what's the problem with that? There's no problem with that. Now, you said that he's going to indict every officer where there was a shooting involved, and I know he didn't say that. I don't even have to get his.
Know?
How do I know? Because let me tell you.
Read the article on him.
I don't have to look at that because you know why I know.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you why I know. He would be disbarred for saying that. If he was to say that he was going to investigate a case and indict the person that he's investigating without getting any facts, he would be disbarred.
Yeah, right. They're not going to do it. In Ferguson, the district attorney there opened up a year ago a secret grand jury on the officer involved in the shooting there, and he's been cleared 3 times. And guess what? He couldn't find anything. Why are they going after him like that? It's not like your uncle says. They don't get up in the morning to go out and hunt down a black man to kill or a black woman. Come on, that's stupid.
Yeah, that's what you.
But finally, you know what? Leave the Constitution as it is. It works. The founders of our country were much more smarter than you and I. He foresaw things.
Well, you can diminish yourself like that if you'd like to. I don't plan on diminishing myself like that. I would like to think in 2020, I have a lot more knowledge about some things that the founders of this country don't know anything about. But I got to let you go because I got another caller. Greg, yes, sir.
Rudy, I apologize, man. I'm double dipping.
It's okay.
And I really do apologize, but I've heard enough. And these people not understand mail-in voting was promoted heavily by the Democrats.
Absolutely.
The president advised his people, do not vote by mail.
Absolutely.
In Pennsylvania, all votes are counted prior to mail-in votes. In Michigan, in Arizona, in Nevada, all votes are counted prior to mail-in votes.
Yes.
So when we went to bed on the night of the 3rd, and Trump was ahead by 170,000 votes in Pennsylvania, they started counting the mail-in votes. That's why we woke up, and he was behind by 30,000.
Yes, it's not complicated at all, Greg.
It's not. No, it's pretty straightforward. And on top of that, anybody who thinks there's equality in, I don't want to say racism, but in intimidation, yeah, they're not really part of a republic. They're part of something else.
I got to let you go. I got another caller, Greg. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Frank. Yes, sir.
Hello. Good evening, Rudy. How are you?
Good, good.
Okay. It's actually a two-part question. The first part, I think, is pretty basic, but the second part maybe is something that hasn't been thought of. Right now, Biden's winning the election.
Yes.
He's winning the election.
Yes.
Okay. Why aren't the people on the left, and yourself included, why aren't you all happy and confident about that? Why do we hear the complaining and the criticizing, the condemning, and all the in the face of winning the election? Why isn't the left happy yet?
Well, I don't know that it's not. Oh, believe me, my friend, there's a whole lot of happy people that he won the election. That's for sure. But let me say this to you, and I don't mean to say this in a condescending way, but I can't help it but for it to come out that way. If my son acted the way Trump's acted after losing the election, when he was little, I'd have whipped his butt and sent him to bed. I would have whooped his behind and sent him to bed for acting like that. That is not the way you act. When you lose, Hillary was crushed. She was absolutely crushed at the loss. And she stood up there like a grown person and said, I concede, and wished the new president the best in his administration. Why can't Trump do that?
Well, I'm sure Trump's got his own reasons. And
Will you tell me why he can't do that? I want you to tell me why. Why can't he do that?
I can't speak for Trump, but actually, your lead-in is for the second part of the question. Okay, there are things out there that went wrong. Okay, that's not getting publicized through the mainstream media.
Like what?
And I guess
like what?
Dominion Software, like Smartmatic.
Oh! Now, did you hear? Okay, Sidney Phillips said Dominion Software was manipulated by Hugo Chavez. Do you believe that?
Okay, I'm not here to discuss the Dominion Software. Here's what I'm going to say.
Well, you just brought it up. I'm only responding to what you...
Hold on.
Okay.
Here it comes. They're going to push these lawsuits, and probably the one in Pennsylvania is they're gonna win. Okay, because the Pennsylvania problems are definite and visible. If they get to the Supreme Court and Trump wins a 5-4 decision, what's going to happen?
Well, first off, I don't think it'll get to the Supreme Court. Second of all, I would say to you that if that was to happen, there would be chaos in this country like none of us have ever seen. And I'm going to tell you why.
Unfortunately, I agree with you.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you why. Here's why. And this is what the conservatives will not admit to. If he says there's a problem with the vote, God knows I support his right to say that. But when he targets Philadelphia, Detroit, and Milwaukee for their votes, what's the message? What's the message, Frank?
There's two messages. One on your side, I understand. You're going to say that they're taking advantage of the black vote.
No, I'm saying forget about for what I'm trying to say to you is what is the message? What's the message? There's a message there.
Okay, the message is that the votes in those areas are not reliable because the operators of those election committees are corrupt.
Oh. So Atlanta, Philadelphia, Michigan, Milwaukee, all of those election people are corrupt.
Yeah.
Now, is that what you're telling me?
Yes. Now here's the part that's on our side that I don't think anybody on your side has thought of. Similar or almost the same kind of problems are found in 8 or 10 or even 12 battleground states. Now, did 8, 10, or 12 different election committees all wake up Tuesday morning on the 3rd and decide to do the same things in the same ways with the same software? I don't think so. I think there's somebody behind the scenes pulling the strings. Like the Wizard of Oz.
You don't have no proof. It's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. You're not going to get it. You know why you're not going to get it? I'm going to tell you why you're not going to get it. Because there is none. And just like I told Chuck a few minutes ago, it's one thing to spout a conspiracy theory on Facebook and on TV. Your butt better not go into court and make a statement like that unless you can prove it.
All right. Well,
and you know what? And you know what, Frank?
Go ahead.
They talk all they want to talk, but when they get into the court, they don't say fraud.
Okay.
They don't say conspiracy theory. You know why they don't? Because they could be disbarred for doing that.
Okay, that's not how they present the cases. But the case that Sidney Powell filed last week has 30 counts of fraud for which he has evidence. 30 counts in Georgia. And the case that is pending in Pennsylvania right now, the opinion was written by the Judge McCullough, that she expects them to win on the merits. If those two come through, then there's one of them is going to head to the Supreme Court, and then you're going to have to, there's going to be a reckoning. Because then you're going to find out there really is evidence.
So what happens if they don't go to the Supreme Court? Then what?
Okay.
Are you willing?
One of the reasons why
are you willing to? Wait a minute. Are you willing to accept the election if it doesn't go to the Supreme Court? Or are you going to still?
They don't get to the
Wait a minute. Let me finish.
I'm going to answer your question right now.
No, you let me finish. If it doesn't get to the Supreme Court, are you prepared to say that Biden won the election and there was no shenanigans?
No, I'm not prepared to say that.
I know you wouldn't. You know why? I know you wouldn't.
Hold on. Let me speak for myself. The just from Project Veritas, the video evidence that they have, which is going to be used by Trump's team in court, is damning.
What's the video evidence? I saw
something you've never seen.
I've seen some of that stuff that they're going to use.
Naked Trump picture.
Go to Project Veritas Go to their website and pull down. They've got dozens of these films. I get them every day, and pull them up and play them, and you won't believe your eyes and ears. You won't believe your eyes and ears.
What I've seen is they have pictures. They have pictures of people writing on things at the table. What does that tell me? That don't tell me anything.
Okay, look closer. Okay, if you were in my shoes, you'd be looking as closely as I am. Okay? Because you're in the driver's seat, you've got all the votes, and you've got basically, the election sewn up, and it's a slam dunk. You're not looking at these possibilities. I'm warning you. If these things do get proven to be true, and they appear before the Supreme Court, there's going to be hell to pay.
What if they don't get proven to be true?
Well, then Joe Biden wins.
And do you accept that?
Well, listen. What am I
answer the question. Do you accept it if those things go to the Supreme Court? If they do not get to the Supreme Court, do you in fact accept the fact that Biden is your president?
Yeah, Biden will be the president, no question.
Do you accept the fact that Biden is your president?
Right now, I'll wait until December 12th when the electors vote. I'll wait.
Okay. That least
that's fair enough, don't you think?
Well, it is at least a logical answer, because some of the other stuff you told me is totally illogical. But at least that's a logical answer. But it's still, I would still tell you,
I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just saying, what if?
Well, no, but I would tell you, I would still tell you this.
Yeah.
I said it in the beginning, I say it again. If my son had ever acted like that after he lost the game, I'd have whipped his butt and sent him to bed.
Well, I am not.
Well, I'm just
Rudy,
telling you.
I'm not going to be here to stand up for Trump's behavior, not one time. But I'm going to say this: okay, if you're going to beat him fair and square. But you don't have to. Don't do this other stuff that's been happening.
Do you think? Let me ask you this: do you think I want to win and cheat? Do you think?
No.
Okay, good. I'm glad you.
But Rudy, listen. You're a fine, upstanding pillar of this community. Everybody that knows you likes you. I like you. But the other folks on the left that share your basic political perspective don't have your morals, ethics, and scruples. They don't. And they'll go and do stuff dirty. Okay? Whether that's a conscious part of how you look at the political environment or not, they're there. Okay?
Okay.
And if they screw up and it gets to the Supreme Court, it's a 5-4 victory for Trump, it's going to be hell to pay.
It will be.
It's going to be horrible.
Thank you, Frank.
One last thing. Go Heat.
Oh, yeah, I'm with that.
Go Heat. I'm an instant Jimmy Butler fan.
So am I. So am I.
Number 22, baby.
I love Jimmy Butler, yeah. He won me over.
Number 1, Jimmy Butler.
He won me over, yes, sir.
Me too.
Okay. Thank you,
Rudy,
sir.
take care of yourself.
You too.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Well, they got me a little jazzed up there toward the end.
Oh, yeah. But that makes a great show, doesn't it? You know?
Yeah, it does.
When it's all said and done, though, when it comes to family values and conservatism, you're a whole lot more conservative than a lot of folks would even try to imagine. They just can't. They can't imagine it.
Yes, that's true. I will tell you, though, I'm just so weary of all the conspiracy stuff. I think it's so destructive to us as a country, and it just further divides us. And I'd like to thank you so much for listening to the African American Scene. God bless, be safe, and I will see you next Wednesday right here for the African American Scene.
Archives of the African American Scene can be found on YouTube. Look for WPSL TV on YouTube, and that's where you'll find phone calls and all, the African American Scene. This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.